and Shi and Hou. Board number 1 for stage so far. Maybe they're on the way to it. 6 clubs is on the heart, yes. Alright.
So, raring to go.
China bid the Salmon Gods of Hearts lead.
Are we in slump territory? Or not?
And Germany bid the Salmon, although they got the...
Do you like to be in 6 clubs perhaps? I guess not. Nah. You don't.
Meanwhile, Shi and Hou or is Hou? Okay. They just play 3 peacefully.
No, it's not a finesse. It's not the world's worst contract, but the values aren't quite there, are they? It's a bit of combined 30 count.
North side pair are still no trump, Stamen, 2 spades.
Yeah.
Shape relay, no doubt.
You might possibly look for it if you could find the partner had a club suit and a maximum. You might go for it, but
we'll find out whether they're on the way to 6 clubs.
It's reasonable just a bid going.
In 3 no trumps, you have 5 clubs, 2 spades, 3 diamonds. Probably.
Madala is in a club contract next door, but not 6, 5.
Came out, didn't go any further than 5 clubs. In a sense, there's a missed opportunity, but they made 6 yet on the lead of Jack.
So this will increase the lead by an imp, I suppose. Maybe 2.
The Jack is from Queen Jack.
Well, and the 6 of hearts is a threat against East, but West is guarding the spades, so it should just be 11 tricks now. And Declarer will cash the diamonds and then the clubs and hope that East has the spade guard so he gets squeezed, but he won't, so just 460.
I wonder whether we can select on what the bidding in the closed room. I think I understand open room fairly well.
So while this is playing out, could also mention that in the Venice Cup, the women's competition, was a bit of a surprise. Indonesia leading against USA 2.
For yes, he declares will end
by 18 imps.
East to duck the second heart, prepared to invest in a trick for the unlikely chance that, say, partner had the ace of clubs and deserved didn't have 9 to run.
And in the Bermuda Bowl, the 2 matches not featured on BBO. Netherlands against Iceland and USA 1 against Israel. Netherlands leading by 100,
yes,
and USA 1 leading by 100. So those matches are virtually over.
So, board number 2, he's a dealer, but they haven't started yet. No. There is a hard fit, east-west.
So 1 imp to China. Madala made all 13 tricks in the other room, but still lost an imp. In effect, China are up by 15 imps now because there's a fraction in the carryover, which we can't show on BBO. Software won't allow fractions.
You would expect Duboin to open one and East would raise the 2 hearts, or in 3 hours. Well,
Nadal got the Queen of Spades lead, did he? And he led a heart to the King, and he's ducked, and now he can finesse Spades and throw both his remaining hearts away on the Diamond and the Spade.
Nope.
Is that how he managed to sneak 13 tricks through?
A mixed race of some description. Wild overbid. But then again, it is Sementa. So if Duboin
Some sort of hard race by a passed hand.
Yes, pass would presumably be passing 3 hearts would be, one of them would be constructive and the other would tell.
So we can debate this issue. Now, when you double an artificial 3 diamonds, should that show the suit or should it be a takeout of hearts? Any views?
Alright, let's see if we can zoom in.
When you're a passed hand, I think it should definitely be the suit. I mean, without any special agreements, most people play as the suit. You would need some specific agreements otherwise. I mean, some people play that say after a Bergen raise, if the raise is quite weak, then it's takeout of, but if it's a limit raise, then it's just lead directing. I mean, that might be optimum sort of thing, but obviously that's quite fiddly to remember.
Mixed race. Hold on. Pass shows interest. Yeah, it's better than.
Yes, I've had that discussion with my partner, and we do indeed play it as takeout as long as East is at the responder is at most invitational. But here the passed hand status does change everything, and I think it should be lead directional.
Where you have a working forecast. Seems to me.
So, another debate, or view at least, when that artificial bid gets doubled and you are committed to the 3 level, regardless, is pass stronger than 3 hearts? Well, I can say for me, pass is mildly encouraging, and back to 3 hearts is as weak as it can be.
I have a simple rule in all these circumstances, including a number of non-competitive situations. The return to the suit is the weakest possible option, the fast return to the suit. Situation where it can occur in a non-competitive situation is if partner blackwoods and you give a response and he then asks for a queen, then I always play that returning to the minimum in our suit denies the queen. Some people play some sort of step responses there. It's a good simple rule. Fast return to the suit is always a minimum.
This is a question of getting hearts right, losing only 1 trick in the suit. Provided you have enough entries, a double finesse is recommended. You would only lose to King Queen Doubleton offside. Everything being equal, that is. If you fear a ruff, obviously, you must cash the ace.
Well, the only point in taking the double finesse is to guard against king-queen with South, and South's a passed hand and has already shown up with ace-king of diamonds, so you know he can't have king-queen of hearts, so I don't think he'll take the double heart finesse on this auction.
I agree.
Of course.
You just bash out ace in another.
This is a different situation altogether. I agree.
But you're okay, Roland. You've got legal backup there. I think you said all things being equal, and here all things are not equal because of the point that Bill made.
In the Men's Cup, Indonesia increasing their lead by a couple of imps. Lead by 20 now.
And from now on, I'll name Bill, Frisby, William, just to avoid confusion. We have two Bills here, and I know that the Bill from England won't mind if we call him William instead.
So I suppose it would all end in 3 diamonds, you lose a heart, 3 spades. I think West
It's in his profile as William.
West with 3 hearts.
Yes, indeed. I mean, I fear the day where we have 4 voice commentators all named David.
West seat on the lead of the Queen of Hearts. Declarer has...
What's your view, David? And we get 4 replies at the same time.
And if the defender's leader...
I wonder how many expert Davids you could amass at one table. You've got David Berkowitz, David Byrne, David Bird. I'm sure there's you could probably get a dozen or so.
Many more. David Greenwood, David Stern, David Beauchamp. Lots of Davids. I think we have 17 in the squad.
Produced a forcing club biddings past the... we don't want to intrude too much on private brief, but we can see the USA will take them happily and move on.
David Edwin, David Bierman.
Change.
I could go on and on. Well, here we have an inverted race.
All USA match in each of the 3 events.
Would someone like to explain what that means?
Yes, according to rules and regulations in the semi-finals.
Well, inverted minors means, I say, if you make a single raise, it's forcing at least a limit raise strength, and if you make a double raise, it's just preemptive. I mean, for the Italians, it's not quite the same as that, although it's similar. I mean, they respond 2 clubs on a variety of hands. I mean, it's always a good hand, but it might sometimes actually be short in a balanced hand. Although normally it's just a good hand with clubs. I mean, their 1 club opener is only a doubleton, so I'm not sure they really class a 2 club response as being a raise at all. They just think of it as being, you know, a sort of a natural 2/1 strong bid.
If you were minimum, but 2 diamonds
balanced or 3 plus diamond?
3 suited hand, I think he said. Balanced or 3 suited.
3 diamonds looks.
And the 2 diamond rebid by Duboin is often 12 to 14 balanced. I mean, it is for many pairs, and apparently for this pair as well.
Yes, I think 2 diamonds might just be any minimum, perhaps, rather than specifically the weak no trump. But I mean, they're going to get to 3 no trumps somehow, you'd have thought.
Very best today.
He wanted to slam and decided he didn't like it, so he's tried to avoid doing it again.
Yes, I think that these days, in the days of 1 club not showing even 3 clubs, you should think of 1 club or 2 club in that 2/1 sense as just a natural 10 plus type bid, rather than thinking of it as a raise.
And shifted to a say, perhaps. Even then, no shot. Alone.
So if we interpret this auction correctly, 2 diamonds, minimum hand, often balanced, 3 diamonds showing values in that suit. On that basis, Duboin opts for 3-no trumps with rather good holdings in the majors.
I don't think it would have been outrageous for East to make another push with 4 clubs over 3-no trumps, but I mean I think he's already shown a good shapely hand with 3 diamonds, and his partner said I'm not interested, so he knows there's a lot wasted in the majors.
Quite part of tripping now.
And the 10 of hearts in dummy is a nice asset.
Back from queen check combinations. Rules now.
When you have king 9 to 4, he really likes something opposite. So the 10 is a useful card.
Europe or in the US?
I idea that sound to me, but
Okay.
Strange choice of lead, wasn't it?
You yourself like in form of underleads as RLC?
You mean you would have selected the 4's best heart? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, leading a sequence like Queen Jack 3-2, leading an honour there is very unusual and not really recommended.
Small, like we saw this morning, I will keep the 10.
Right.
But that's not typically used now, that's a third of
Yes, it's normal to underlead 2 honours against no trumps. I mean, the only time you might lead a high card from 2 honours to 4 is when you think it's very likely that partner's got length in the suit. Say if partner, you think partner might have 5 hearts, you might very well lead a big one there, just to partly to stop declarer scoring a cheap trick, and also to start unblocking the suit and clearing it up for partner. But if you think your hearts are the main trick source for the defenders, then you lead not low normally.
Or when declarer has shown a singleton in the suit. You prefer to lead an honour through dummy.
11 tricks.
Yeah, you might want to sort of, sometimes you might try to pin something in declarer's hand or so, but none of that really applies here, so the 4th best heart looked normal to me.
Maybe it's because hoping that the defenders will continue the queen of hearts.
And I think there was a case for leading a diamond, leading the 8 diamonds there rather than a major, but
now it's a set of schools. This puts a set.
As you can see, the country was never in jeopardy. 6 club tricks, 2 diamonds, and the ace of spades. So this is only a matter of how many over tricks.
I would guess as a non-expert, an avowed non-expert in double squeeze. I would have thought that if the heart menace is wrongly positioned. But it was at least very thoughtful of Giorgio not playing that first trick, because then we would have caught up the other rom. By playing that out, he's given us a chance to be overtaken by the other.
Funnily enough, board 1 was a swing in all of the other 3 Bermuda Bowl matches. A 2-digit swing. I haven't looked up how. Must have been 6 clubs compared to 3 no trumps.
Okay, so
Could also be 6 clubs going down. Well, you can't really, because the swing's all to north-south. So it must have been 6 clubs making at the 3 tables. And either 6 clubs going down in the other room, or... No, it must be 3 no trumps. Otherwise they would gain more than 10, 11.
Oh, sorry, there's yeah.
Yeah, that must be
Club from
the thing.
local double showed hearts. Pass a no trump. 2 diamonds natural. Double to show extras. 3 clubs from north, and you imagine when a 10 count facing 12, 14 will pass, but Madela doesn't like to move.
No swings in either of the Venice Cup matches, so they must have been playing 3 no trumps everywhere, perhaps 5 clubs.
Probably make 3 no trumps.
Like Iceland did against the Netherlands.
Well, East West have an 8 card spade fit here, but
Israel did against
it's going to be a
USA.
little bit hard for them to get into it if it starts. You know, a club, a diamond, a heart, say, I don't think West's really going to do anything with that hand. Then if North rebids in... Oh, okay. He's
Drive that hand again, despite
upgraded that quite considerably.
I would have thought
This is supposed to,
how it would be to
this is supposed to be 1570 or 1460?
2 diamonds.
Well, the card I'm looking at has a good 15 to 18.
Nadella has driven.
Wow, a good 15. I see.
Yeah, it says 15 plus dash 18. You've got to wonder whether I'm looking at the right system card here. That is not 15 plus.
Ooh.
Yes, the names on the Chinese cards don't quite match this pairing. I have another card that for a Chinese pair that says they're playing a 13 plus to 16, which is a little bit more consistent with that. So I think I might just sort of assume that this pair are using that card. I mean, it's basically the same sort of methods.
Come in with 3 diamonds. The lion awakes. Now South should be able to double to show a reasonable hand. And North
So, South is probably going to invite 2 no trump next.
What else is there?
Well, didn't get the chance.
would be
Yes, he does.
Yeah, you're right, William. I was looking at the wrong card. I think North South are a precision pair, playing a 13 to 15 one no trump.
2 club tricks and at least 1 spade.
I think it's fine for both of us to call each other Bill, because there's never going to be any misunderstanding. It's only when Roland's talking that he has to use the William Bill nomenclature.
It may not be
Exactly.
quite so easy for the defenders to
As we can see,
get those tricks.
3 no
South is
trump
going to be
makes a North South.
cash 2 hearts. Actually,
Very lucky make,
defense.
but it does make.
Cash.
East obviously couldn't bid
You won't get any
diamonds naturally over a no trump, and probably 2 diamonds would have shown 1 major or something like that, so he has to pass.
I don't think so.
I mean, I'd have thought that perhaps, I mean, 3 diamonds is obviously risky, but he wants to do something, and I mean, apart from anything else, he's worried that 2 hearts might be about to get passed out, and so he's sort of in the, what's called the pre-balancing seat, in that he wants to compete the hand.
where you could take out safely.
Well, right now he should be very worried about 3 diamonds being passed out. Doubled. I suspect it goes down 800.
Antonio Sementa on your left, and we've already seen.
Yes, I mean, doubling 2 hearts for takeout was perhaps an alternative with the East hand, but that's
number and double it.
not really clear. I mean, South's double just shows values. It's not purely penalties. It's just saying, you know, I've got a constructive hand. I was perhaps going to bid 2 no trumps or something like that next time.
It was alerted to double.
North may pass there with something in diamonds and some quick tricks and a double and a heart, but I don't think it's clear. I mean, he may pass simply because he, you know, the alternative is to bid a dodgy 3 no trumps or to bid a very dodgy 4 clubs, or a very, very dodgy 3 spades.
Yeah, I think it's 3 no trumps or pass. You've got to go for the. Your partner has forced you into taking a big position here. So I think it's got to be 3 no trumps or pass.
No trump went down.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, they're the only 2 reasonable options. Actually, you would never bid 4 clubs there. I mean, you're either going to go for the game bonus or you're not. I think he'll bid 3 no trumps.
Well done.
He has the sort of diamond holding that's, you know, partner's got something in clubs, you might well be scoring much better in 3 no trumps than defending diamonds.
It looks as if you have 5 club tricks and 2 diamonds and 2 hearts without having to guess the spades. Even if you give up a heart early on, unless you block the clubs, and nobody would be that careless, would they?
This is another hand that shows up how good the weak no trump is. East 3 diamond bid is incourageous or incautious or whatever, but presumably he couldn't bid a natural 2 diamonds, and he felt he had to come in. So it's the 1 no trump opening that's leveraged them up so high. Whereas if you look at the closed room auction, East was able to bid 1 diamond over 1 club. Now, they had a problem showing his values.
So what would you do now as North? Would you leave it in, or would you bid 3 no trumps? I mean, that's his 2 options.
It's very difficult. I mean, I think I would probably bid 3 no trumps, but
it's such a strategic and tactical situation. Here he is, 14 imps ahead against the mighty Italians. Does he want to roll the dice with the slight chance that 3 diamonds might make, or perhaps only go 1 down when you've got an easy 3 no trumps? Now, 3 no trumps was a more middle of the road decision.
I mean, his problem is he's dead minimum, so 3 trumps might well not be making, so it's not a question of...
So, the
I
point
mean,
of the play,
I don't think he really had any safe fence to sit on. It was really like, I mean, he was gambling whatever he did.
the 10 or 9 for dummy.
Wow. 3 diamonds double would have been a disaster for East. 2 rounds of hearts, 2 rounds of clubs, and a spade exit by North. How many down?
Well, at least 800.
Yes.
I think it would have been exactly 800. I suspect Sementa would have guessed the spades and lost then just a spade and a couple of diamonds.
France had 2 game swings to Germany's 1. This was one where they bid to 3-0. 3 of the...
Oh, well, maybe I'm a bit hasty there. The 3rd round of spades, if it can be played, will promote the diamond tricks in South.
Women were more restrained. 0 of 8 pairs bid to game here.
Yes, the defence do best against 3 diamonds to get a spade through early on, don't they?
Yes, whilst they've still got communications in the other suits. It's a really tough position because of the state of the match, I reckon, for North. I think in other circumstances he would have just gone for it and passed the double. This is not a normal situation that he's in.
For playing on hearts right now. If you run the 9 of hearts and it loses and they play back a diamond, maybe you could still make if the clubs were 3-1.
No, but you can't really play on hearts here without risk. I mean, the thing is that he'd like to duck a heart. On the other hand, he doesn't want another diamond while the ace of spades is still out.
Worthwhile just noticing that, of course, he gets rid of the 7 of clubs, because he doesn't want to block the clubs, so he needs the 5 of clubs to lead to the 6, since he might well not have any entries to his hand. So he drops the 7 first of all, and then when they both follow, he can drop the 10 quite happily.
The worst case scenario now is that a low spade comes through now.
9 tricks, I think. Which makes it something else.
Well, even that would be okay. As we see, it doesn't matter. All those spades in the east hand.
I wonder what West was thinking whilst North thought about 3 diamonds doubled. Looking at his hand, I think he would have been wondering whether he should call for the paramedics.
Surprising to see that.
I think he was devoting all his mental energy to willing North to bid 3 no trumps rather than pass. And he was indeed successful.
Instead of playing top club. On this deal, very few pairs bid to 4 hearts in the Bermuda Bowl, but USA 2 did do that. France did it against China in Venice Cup and against Germany in the Dorsey Bowl.
I wonder what the K&R evaluator would make of that North hand. I certainly don't wonder enough to bother putting it into it, but if anybody did, they'd probably find it was about a 5 count or something, I think.
5 count. So, can they catch east-west here? Well, can escape into diamonds, but that won't be cheap either. Well, in fact, it will be very expensive. But you're red on white, so you'll probably go for your contract instead, I suppose.
South's decision is whether to show the majors or whether to double to show values.
Paradoxical sort of way.
I don't think it's really going to be possible for North-South to penalise the opponents. I mean, at this vulnerability, and when they have a 9-card fit in diamonds, you're not going to. And you've got a 9-card heart fit. You're going to want to play your contract, aren't you? I'm told that K&R evaluates the North hand as 9.6.
We had a similar auction in the previous set, with 2 diamonds showing the majors.
Either the other minor for majors or always 2 clubs. I think probably the other minor.
North did play a little bit of lip service to the K&R evaluation because he could have opened a 13 to 15 1 no trump, so he did downgrade it to a degree.
1 major, so 2 hearts and 2 spades might be major minor is another possibility. Mitchell Stamen they call it in the US. Here 2 diamonds got North to 2 hearts and South wasn't prepared to take another call. Can hardly blame him.
Your hard-working spectator should put the South hand into the evaluation. I think the South hand will evaluate quite well, actually.
Well done.
It was actually an excellent vulnerable game on the auction because the heart finesse is almost certain to work, and there's basically just the 3 losers.
Yeah, apparently 11.8 K&R for South, so South's much better than North. The nebulous 1 diamond opener, saying the strong club, North-South playing a strong club system, so they're opening a diamond on any weak no trump hand. That's sort of concealed for North-South how well their hands fit, because they've got this nice mesh in clubs, but South obviously with his single and diamond doesn't really know that.
Here remains 15 imps for China.
I mean, perhaps South ought to have made a move, because, you know, when he bids a no trump over a diamond, you might argue that he's going to have diamond strength, and hence, you know, your single and diamond's quite good. Also, it does pay to bid aggressively when the opponents have either opened or overcalled with a natural one no trump, because you know where the cards are and you know the suits are breaking. But still, the way it panned out, he didn't know his partner had 4 hearts, which was important.
North-South going for 500.
2 diamonds, just showing the majors. His partner bids 2 hearts over that. You know, he could only have 2 spades and 3 hearts or something like that. Then the hand's a lot worse.
Yes, I don't think I'd even give South a yellow card for that. The pass of 2 hearts was almost certainly the percentage decision.
So, chance for getting Italy, perhaps, if they can find their way to a contract. South has overcalled a spade in this room, but not in the other. How many spades will North bid now? PO?
Probably only 3. Well, I guess that would be the 4.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Interesting, 4 got overcall. If South didn't overcall, then presumably West would have responded a spade, and that would have been the end of the 5-4 spade fit, but...
I would be wrong. Bidding 4. However, 5 diamonds might be...
I mean, North would normally just want to bid 4 spades on that hand, but he might have be slightly slowed down by the 1 no trump bid. And he now knows that West's got something in spades.
Okay. Now, Antonio Sementa wants to bid 4 no trumps. His bidding box has no green pass cards in, so his choice is to double for takeout or to bid 4 no trumps. You can see how painful it is to him even to think of the idea of passing.
3 spades, perhaps?
That's why it's such
Yeah.
good value.
I would expect my partner to have 5 spades whenever he overcalls.
Exactly.
I could even be tempted to bid 4 of them.
Passes not permitted.
It's not my fault that he has 4.
The North-South card says that if they jump in a minor suit, that's fit showing, so that means he might not have 3 hearts available as a fit showing jump, or 4 hearts available. I'm not sure he would want to bid that anyway. I think 4 hearts, 4 spades is a reasonable bid with that North-South.
I don't see what else Duboin can do except double this.
Duboin emerges with, it's not going to be fast.
No, he really has the hand for doubles him in his partner's suit. 9 count and a certain trump trick.
There's a loser in each suit, but I think that might be it. So this is rather looking like it's going to be a flattish board, like all the rest.
England, collecting 500 in one room and odd looking minus 200 in the other room where North-South missed their 5-4 spade fit, still gained.
Ben Green from England makes a point here. You put the Jack of Hearts in the club suit. You want to be in 5 diamonds.
West knows that his partner has approximately -1 spades. So I guess this is giving him the pause. He's vulnerable. His partner's probably going to have at least 3 diamonds, quite possibly 4.
So you would consider 4-0 trump here? But 4-0 trump would be to play, wouldn't it?
I don't see how 4-no trumps can be to play given that you were only worth 1 no trump. I mean, I think 4-no trumps would be take out. But I think you would... I'm not sure what you'd have for that. I mean, you might bid that if you had that same hand, but with, you know, one of the hearts was a club. If you'd chosen to bid a no trump on a 4-1-5-3 with, you know, relatively weak spades, you might then back in with 4-no trumps, I suppose, but bit of a view.
One down, or not?
Well,
I don't think he could be certain of a 9-card fit. 0, 4, 3, 6 was a possible shape, and that's only got a bunch of 8-card fits. I think he came to the conclusion that he couldn't really safely go for the vulnerable game.
I mean, presumably if East had doubled 4 spades, that would simply be a good hand with short spades. So Duboin knows his partner hasn't got a good hand.
West is probably going to get 2 trump tricks, isn't he? Feels to me as if Declarer should win the club and play a diamond to cut the defender's communications. It's okay to return a club. It has a big bonus today. Unexpected, perhaps.
Let's say he exits with...
I like the 1 spade overcall. It's particularly wide against red with the ace-king. I think it's a good way to get into the option. He clearly couldn't double 1 club for takeout with the short hearts. So unless you're religious about it, which it sounds like Roland is, about having a 5-card suit, I think there's a lot to be said for that overcall.
My main concern is that when you overcall on 4, it's impossible for partner to know how high he can compete, because all of a sudden the law of total trumps doesn't apply anymore.
Entirely unbiased as to what's best, but it certainly instinctively feels right to me to play a diamond.
Yes, a very valid point, and I know Larry Cohen's made that point in Bridgeworld magazine, that he won't overcall 4-card suits because it stuffs up his partner's law calculations.
Now communications are there.
Okay, so the 8 of clubs is established if South is awake. He certainly knows that he's better catch a diamond trick before it gets away.
A slightly careless 7 of clubs to the first trick means that 8-5 is a threat over 6-4.
Sementa wisely decides to cash his partner's setting trick here.
So Declarer has lost 3 tricks, and hearts need to be roughed twice. And it looks to me so therefore as if West will get 2 trump tricks.
Low scoring sets in most matches until now. We have 2-0 in this match. The women's match between USA 2 and Indonesia, it's 2-1
No. Disappointing.
after 7 balls.
Yep, it's reading like a soccer game at the moment.
Defenders or Declarer has it nearly one of those squeezes if he cashes.
I should have said 1-2 because Indonesia ahead. So they're 1 in further ahead, 19 now.
We cannot throw a heart because then we establish hearts. Of course, that doesn't help because West has no more of them.
Three diamonds and Colstrom made only 130, I guess, in 3. Declarer wasn't searching for the second hook.
Sweden just got 10 imp swing against England in the women's. The Swedes are now up by a single imp. Who said that overtricks don't count at imps?
Well, Roland, it's probably a good time to congratulate you on your Alan Truscott Award that is being publicised when people log into BBO. Terrific effort, and extremely well deserved. Roland works day and night on the BBO Vugraph organisation. I can get emails from him any hour of the day. And it's a lot of, you can imagine how much work it is to organise all this. So, very well deserved award for you.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you to everyone. I've got quite a few messages already. I suspect that I'll get more by email and chat message. I hope you understand that I can't thank all of you individually, so just accept my sincere thanks.
You never know.
Now, is it like the Nobel Prize where you get a cash award of $1 million or something like that? Or citizenship of Sweden?
It's only $800,000, which is a disappointment, of course. I really don't know. Actually, I think all you get is a diploma, but I don't know.
It's West on lead, and I don't think it matters what he leads, does it?
Of course, Alan Truscott, a pretty famous individual. He's an Englishman transplanted into America, and he was the journalist for the New York Times for many, many years,
If he plays a dime,
which I think has
if he plays a
had,
dime,
at
declare
least in
runs,
his time, a daily bridge column.
can draw 2 runs at trumps finishing out and try and cash the 8 and 5 clubs, but East's 6 still be good.
But obviously it's a great honour for me to get some recognition. You know that I love this and don't count hours.
Distribution is.
Still, it's nice when people appreciate what you're doing.
Claire is going to lose another trick, isn't he? I mean, this, what with East having that enormous 6 of clubs,
Right down 2 and 5
4-0 trump break is very annoying.
It's down to 9.
So that's 300 rather than just 100.
Closed room. Final contract.
Was it avoidable, Bill?
West. Did anybody bid the
I
slam?
wasn't watching that closely.
USA 2 would double in 4 spades.
I think it perhaps it was
Well,
possibly it was always
North probably
2 off
doubled
actually,
up
because
basis if it
I mean you can't rough hearts without getting over roughed, you see, so you can't set up the hearts.
he was disappointed in both how many trump tricks he got.
And I think he might always have been
And
a bit
also
stuck
the
there
fact
with
he
the
couldn't
4-0
cross
break.
there, but other than that he got exactly right.
This is very interesting. You would of course like to be in slam
4 hard
with the east-west cards there.
has 8 hearts,
But
3 diamonds, and
problem is you have to bid over 4 hearts, and what else but 4 spades can you bid? And then
just off the screen.
it'll die there.
North not tempted to take further action, and now Antonio Sementa may have to pass for 2-handed row.
It's impossible for Sementa to make a move, particularly looking at the King of Hearts.
Wrong on both occasions. It's not surprising he doesn't do it very often.
Yes, if South had opened only 3 hearts, then that would have given West a little bit more room, but it's still not at all clear that they would reach slam. I mean, you might just overcall a strong 4 spades, or you might double, but obviously that gives you more chance of reaching it. But
10 of hearts from South. Perhaps the preference for diamonds.
one can claim as soon as this doesn't get roughed, as long as trumps are no worse than 5-0.
Racing through the set. Closed room. Board 8. 5 clubs. Lost a spade, a heart, and only 1 diamond. Plus 50 for...
Interesting, East has here exactly the same shape that he had on the first board when he let his partner play in 3-0 trumps. It's a borderline decision whether to push on and look for a slam in clubs.
4 hearts in the Bermuda bowl. Double left. Not easy to get into that auction. Based on the results we can see so far, plus 50 isn't so terrible for North-South. opening bid by West, double by North. In the closed room, East could bid 2 huts as a
Well, the Chinese did pretty well at the other table. North booted it up to 4 hearts, which I don't see a defence to, and they took the sacrifice in 5 clubs.
Party could bid 2 huts as a club race. Redouble, would you
Very well by Boki and Madala getting to 4 hearts, wouldn't you say?
clubs for some sort of limited hand?
Yeah, a combined 17 count.
2 clubs
Indeed.
shows.
Notice the overcall there, where she has doubled. North, whether it was Bocci or Madala, overcalled the 9 high suit.
This will of course improve the North hand considerably, partner holding both majors.
Sementa knows that it's going to be bidding a lot of club later on, but he might try and slip the opponent.
If the redouble is simply showing strength, that actually makes life easier for South, because he can bid 2 clubs to show his shade without promising a lot of values.
Is there a chance that East will buy the hand in 3 clubs? North no.
By the same token, you might say that North could jump to 3 hearts simply to show the extra heart there. Really make life a little bit more difficult for East.
If he has
And he did his research.
Obviously he's worried that that would show a good hand.
Yeah. Now Duboin has a maximum count.
North has a rotten hand. I'm not surprised he only bid 2 hearts, and just points to how well the Italians did to get the game at the other table, not that it paid off for them in particular. But I think perhaps North should have another go at this point.
Yeah, having limited his hand with 2 hearts, he can surely bid 3 now.
The ace of hearts, 2 hearts and 6 clubs, and the ace of diamonds. Easy.
Quite amazing. This hour, 7,500 people watching this match. Remember, we have 6 matches and 7,500 watching this one. Around 5,000 in this room and 2,500 in the closed room.
Well, North has a pretty fair hand in the context of his partner having shown the majors, but there again his partner did not compete to 3 hearts.
Well, I'm sure the Italians were hoping that halfway through this set they would have established the normal order of things and been well ahead. But Chinese have played pretty flawlessly, and of course the boards have been quiet. So we're sitting there still having no idea whether this huge upset's going to occur or not.
Matches, USA 2 have cut back the
Hou
deficit.
can hardly have less for his 2 club bid,
Sweden by
so I think she has a 3 heart bid now.
by 30, and France is up by 42. Final contract.
Quite a lot of imps in this decision.
3 clubs.
3 heart bid I think will be passed out.
And this will be
They'll get
another
170 for 3 imps. But having passed out 3 clubs, they're going to lose around about 5 imps.
5 imps at the end of this deal.
So an 8 imp swing on this decision.
So the overcall was so much better than the double.
Yes, I think that most people would double with that hand. They'd be a little aghast to overcall the 5-card suit to the 9, totally pretty much ignoring the ace-king 4th in 10 4th in spades. So great decision there from the Italians.
Again. The law tells me that.
Oh, please. You have a very shitty hand otherwise. 2 little clubs.
Now Bocky hopes that they have various ways they could still get into a 4-4 spade fit. You know, I mean, if he does something, his partner might double. Or
Probably.
and there's a case if you play this style that, you know, if it goes a club, a heart overcall pass, then if South bids a spade, that should only be 4 or more. That's one of those areas of bidding that is not really all that well defined these days. I mean, some people think, you know, one spade should show 5 or more. Some people think it should show 4 or more.
We had that exact discussion, Bill, in the previous match where the Swedish player did a 4-card suit, found his partner with 3-card support, and they settled in 2 spades making, where 1 no trump went down at the other table. So kind of applies here as well, or could have applied here, as you explained.
So it's 4 imps and another plus score coming for Italy, where 4 spades was attempted in the closed room, losing a spade, a club and 3 diamonds. It's like East did a fair amount of bidding, but West also perhaps overstating his hand. You PO on an auction like this, a heart, a spade, 2 hearts, do you use 2 no trumps as a spade raise?
Bit of a soft result, perhaps.
No,
The Italians in the other room. Looks as though they had 500 available, but it's very difficult to double the opponents when they've got a really good trump fit, because even if it turns out they are balanced in the side suits and they are going to lose a lot of tricks, you don't know they're balanced, and so it's hard to double them. I mean, they could very easily be making the hand on distribution.
Simple played as a 3-card raise, others as a 4-card raise. I think when you play with Sementa, you have to have as many ways as possible of slowing down. Maybe 2 spades would be enough.
Yeah, I guess you should have about 10 ways to sign off.
None of them are any good though.
True.
And the bad news from the point of view of Italy is that even 3 spades would go down. That's a reason why 3 hearts is a little awkward, is that it forces East to commit his hand at this point in the sequence. 2 no trumps is a raise. With 4 trumps would give you a little more space.
I often see a identical auction, competitive auction, but same auction in both rooms.
Who knows, your opponents might actually have their bidding. The contract would be on the diamond finesse. Take away that 10 of diamonds.
So it must be the right auction, I guess.
To declare instead, and the bidding would be just the same.
US women are slowly catching up with Indonesia. Only 6 behind.
Does this contract have any play at all?
Not really.
Yes, and one can understand the lead to 4 spades. I mean, you have the 6th spade and you have the king of hearts, probably well positioned over the ace.
North had king 10 or queen 10 doubles and of clubs.
And you are vulnerable. You don't want to miss a vulnerable game.
So of course, the diamond ace on side goes without saying. If this was right. And North had 2, 5, 4, 4, 2 with a king 10 or queen 10 of clubs. need to play the king of spades out of your hand to keep the entrance to dummy. North will be reluctant to shift to a high club or a high diamond. Each of them could easily cause break. Imagine a declarer with king, queen, 8, 4 of diamonds, for example. I guess the 4-heart contract reached by the USA 2 win would have been hard to beat. Perhaps after
And the result will probably be the same as in the other room. And no swing here.
lead, and South took a seriously and jumped to 4 hearts. It's pretty hard to see how else you could get to with the North-South cards. And I suppose only club lead that beats it. Sensibly defended by South, by North, who just returned a heart.
North wasn't very keen on attacking the diamonds. He was a little worried about Sementa having something like Ace Queen 7 or Ace Queen 8, and the diamond lead kind of, a Jack of Diamonds would help him. So he's gone the passive defence, which I think is correct because he's got clubs well under control.
Women who played in 3 spades and were allowed to make it by French, so that looks like a good position for China, trailing by 40.
Yeah, I'm not sure you want to lead the Jack of Diamonds there, and imagine if the declarer had King Queen 8 or something in his hand, that might help him a little bit.
She trying to conceal the queen of clubs there.
So Sementa is still hoping if Hart comes back that he can rough Jack of clubs, cross to a trumpet,
Won't really matter.
a diamond on the ace of clubs, and play a diamond towards his hand. The 6 of clubs. North-South play regular count, so that suggests an even number from North's perspective.
Could it be a doubleton?
Yes.
Declare is Jack 4th.
Yep. Declarer is known to have at least 5 spades, but North doesn't know that he has only 5, that he has 6 rather than 5.
Yeah.
Known to have doubleton heart. Could he be 5, 2,
If
2,
he
4?
is, the diamond cannot disappear anyways. Even the declarer should have 4 clubs.
Yep. Yep. You have that diamond than most. Say 2 again, still 11 imps the margin. 1 swing for each side so far.
Anyone else main game? No.
No, a few people in it, but only one pair I
Only
think have made USA 2 with the North-South cards. East-West making 140 by the Chinese women is the best result for East-West. Nobody double 4 spades.
North is trying to work out whether he actually does need to break the diamonds now. I think he's probably speculating that East might have a holding like Jack fourth of clubs or something like that, and be threatening to set up the clubs. I don't think it's very likely, but I think this is probably why there's a pause.
So where would you end up if you were North or East?
I think I would hope to top in 3 spades with these West cards. And now declarer has to decide, is he going to play to make the contract by running the Jack of clubs? I think he will. Might as well lead the Jack of clubs. After all,
Yeah.
you can decide what you want to do after that. But lead first and think later.
He didn't.
Maybe he can play a diamond towards the king first. If it loses to the ace, well, it's just down 2. If it wins, then he can decide how to play that.
This is not good. For him.
Well, he was always going down 2. He's trying to avoid going down 3.
Yeah, but he can, even if the cards were as he wants them to be.
He couldn't get back to dummy.
He doesn't have the back.
Well, the spade spots are probably not as shown on the screen. That's my guess.
Ah, maybe.
I think he would have kept a low spade in hand, even though we can't see his cards. We can see the 5 and dummy, but sometimes our Vugraph operators tick off cards without thinking that they're equivalent. Okay. Down 2. It was an unlucky contract, says Sementa. Some of the cards that should have been in our hands were theirs. Closed room. South for Italy, Madela opened a no trump, a heart lead. Down 1, plus 100 for China. Generally, East-West have gone plus at least 100. The no trump range here is 13 to 15. Vulnerable. Doesn't really have enough to double.
So if this is 13 to 16, then probably go all pass. I know that some would double for penalties if you have the West cards. I don't recommend that you do. I mean, you have a 15 count, fine, but you have 4 triple 3, you have no obvious lead. You have a left-hand opponent who is unlimited. I think pass is normal. I'm pretty sure my co-commentators agree with me.
Yeah, I mean, you'd want to... If you double a no trump with that hand and it goes pass, 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 then you suddenly look at your hand and think, oh, how am I actually going to beat a no trump? And if you simply look ahead and think how you'll feel on lead to a no trump doubled, you realise you don't really want to double a no trump.
Well, I'm not going to contradict the winner of the Alan Truscott Award. So yes, I agree, and I do agree. And one other point: partner is a passed hand, so you're pretty unlikely to be protecting a game here.
If partner's got some shape, he can always balance a no trump, and since partner's a passed hand, he may very well have more options to balance than he would otherwise, because obviously his double can't be natural. So I think if you've got sensible methods, you can be fairly confident that if partner's got something and some shape, he's going to be there after a no trump pass.
The defence just needs to be careful here to end play declarer.
In that room, West played diamond.
To lead away from the king jack of clubs.
With 2 diamonds, 1 spade, 1 heart and 1 club, and a trick in the wash from somewhere. It does look as if the Queen of Diamonds lead gives the declarer considerably more in the way of problems, and as I'm sure you know, you can be excommunicated from the team if you ever lead from a 4-card suit headed by the ace. So it was not surprising that French West...
I guess they can do better by breaking clubs now.
Third spade back by West, probably as good as anything. The declarer has a spade trick and 3 heart tricks, and if West doesn't...
Well, they've got themselves into a position where they have to be precise here. For example, 2 rounds of diamonds. No, I think declarer can go close to making it now.
Yes, I mean the whole point about this hand was trying to time it so you end up then playing declarer, forcing him to lead the clubs away from his hand. If you're not going to actually set the clubs up yourself, but I mean they had to cash 2 diamonds and then exit with the heart.
That's right, so he had to play low diamond to his partner's king, diamond back to his jack, and then a heart. So this is going to make, because declarer is going to guess the clubs correctly.
Yes, you would think West would have doubled with the 17 count, which is what he'd have with the same hand with the ace of clubs. Even very strong pairs routinely misdefend a no trump by 1 or 2 tricks, and the reason is just because it's the hardest contract to defend, because you never know which suits you should be attacking, whether you should be attacking a suit or not. I mean, in higher level contracts, it's normally pretty obvious which suits the declarer wants to play and which suits the defenders want to play. But in a no trump,
more difficult, I think, for the strong,
you know,
because Sementa will
there can be very small factors that determine whether you want to just sit back and let declarer open up a suit or not. It can just that one extra trick one way or the other can make all the difference. I mean, it's just basically impossible to get them right, as far as I can see.
the diamond suit is not 2-2, so you have no choice but to play the ace king spade.
Impossible to get right all the time, that's for sure. And that was a pretty tricky one because Duboin was really defending in the dark for most of the play. Didn't really have an opportunity to get any useful signals from his partner.
Double by North. Take out. Or 5.
Okay, so they give the strong clubber a little bit of a problem here. I mean,
Yeah, they're likely to get overboard now. That's a problem, obviously, playing position. You have to introduce your suit at the 5 level sometimes, unless you do what she did, double.
South has a borderline decision, I think, whether to pass this or not.
Yeah, that's the best they can do actually, to pass this.
They can get 2 spades, a diamond and a club in defense, and 5 clubs.
They can take this 1 down, so the 5 diamonds can't make.
Perhaps it'll be 5 diamonds.
We even have to guess well,
So
probably,
2 clubs.
to make 5 diamonds. Since you can't get the dummy
That's it.
to take the spade finesse, I mean, you will escape for 1 down. If diamonds had been 2-2, you would have an entry in the diamond suit.
4 hearts has been
As they're 3-1, you don't.
doubled by Germany against France.
And moreover, if diamonds had been 2-2, you could take 1 more trick against 4 hearts. So 4 hearts doubled is obviously best for North-South here.
Presumably South's pass over a heart limits his hand to something like 0-4, so he knows his partner's got a very good hand to double 4 hearts, but that doesn't really help him. He's still got a borderline decision whether to pass and just, you know, try for 4 tricks in defence or...
3 small in
I think he would have been 4 spades if he had 4 of them. Now that he has only 3 and a 5-3-3-2 shape, I think it's with the odds at these colours to pass.
By the way, we realize that we have overtaken.
Well, if I can just give a plug for the law of total tricks here, which I think makes this problem a lot clearer. So you're sitting south and you hypothesise a singleton heart for partner for his takeout double. That gives your opponents 10 hearts. And thinking optimistically, perhaps he has 4 clubs. That gives you 9 clubs. So that's a total number of trumps, at best estimate, as 19.
Great camera work, thank you.
And that means that if you're making 5 clubs, then 4 spades should be 2 down. So, which is pretty much as good as you could need. So I think the law of total tricks tells you quite clearly to pass.
Board 8 and show you what happened
Yes.
to your team.
And how came to the same conclusion? Very good explanation, Bill.
Boards from other results from other tables on board 8. If you want to check.
Yes, this is one of the most important kind of general findings that this total tricks theory sort of made obvious, which is the higher the level of the bidding, even though your partner's made a takeout double and you don't have any trumps at very high levels, it's still best to pass, just because at very high levels probably no one's making anything.
Third and fifth leads, so North knows that South has 3 spades or perhaps 1.
I mean, still a great result for North-South in the other room, so...
I guess in the end, if the 2 spades played, then the 9, if North covers with a 10, that is fatal.
It is, yes. and a bit lucky. I mean, to make 4 diamonds, of course. You can't go wrong in spades. On the other hand, it's just 1 imp, and the Chinese did very well, actually, to get the 100 they're getting here.
See the earlier boards. We'll be back with the live
The
action.
declarer will now hope for a black suit squeeze, so he'll ruff a diamond and draw trumps and ruff a diamond and run trumps and hope that North, along with his 10 of spades, has all the clubs, Queen Jack 10, all 5 clubs, and then he would be squeezed and you would make it, but that's not the case.
So that's all the diamonds gone. Declarer will cash his last 2 trumps.
And if somebody has the 4 spades and 5 clubs, or
Quite a large part of good declare play technique is simply playing the hand so as to set up squeezes, even though you know that most of the time, or a lot of the time, they won't actually work out. But you know, if you play the hands right, so that you know you set up 10 squeezes, perhaps 2 or 3 of them will actually produce you an extra trick.
So it's worth checking an extra time.
Was it Edgar Kaplan, I think it was, who said that he spent half his life setting up non-working squeezes?
So back down to board 12, closed room, north-south bid unopposed to 2 spades, down 1. North showed 16 plus with his 2 club rebid, or spades and club.
The auction in the other room was normal for the Italian pair, as they don't open a no trump with a 5-card major.
Precision.
I know that many do. They will probably be left to play there.
Is the Pope Catholic?
I mean, after a club.
no.
Yeah, okay, Sementa's come in, so
South is so good diamonds, they might end up in 3 no trumps.
They certainly might end up in 1 no trump. If South doubles to show 5 to 7, North bids a spade and
I
7
mean, if
bids
South
no
doubles, that's presumably something like sort of 5 to 7 points takeout-ish, so he knows if he does this, he just makes them let the opponents off the hook, because now there's no way his partner's going to pass this double, and he's not going to be able to defend. But so he might think about passing, hoping that he'll get to defend some contract doubled, but I'm not sure that's a very good idea, particularly at this vulnerability.
We'll get more comparisons as soon as things are fixed.
What strong 1 no trump can be for the Chinese pair here.
BBC saying normal service will be resumed as soon as possible, but in this case
It can't be invitational opposite the hand she has. A bare minimum for his strong club.
No, I'm not so sure. I mean,
so
I would have thought the standard methods were that 1 no trump was natural and game forcing here. Sort of 8 to, 8 plus balanced or whatever. So if that's the case, who's just decided to upgrade the hand because of the nicely placed 10 of diamonds and the... But possibly they're playing this as sort of 5 to 7, in which case obviously North will just pass.
Well, after all, partner has shown 8 or more when he bid. one no trump.
Whoa.
Right, so as expected, I think a no trump was game forcing.
We'll see. Okay. Well, perhaps Macwell would be proud of being 3 no trumps there.
Leads your suit when
And a
you
combined 23 count, isn't that their specialty?
Yep, that's their magic number.
But they won't play well at all.
Not good. Slim and zero.
I mean, from Declare's view, he doesn't know.
They had a swing coming in if they could have got to 1 no trump, which I think would be very difficult to beat. So this is clearly going to slide off. I think probably 2 off.
He come forward, please.
Yes, I mean, opening 1 no trump with a North hand just looks
Garcia.
such a comfortable way to live that, I mean, I'm really surprised that the Italians seem to have this massive disinclination to open a no trump with 5 card majors. I mean, okay, they've got these gazilli gadgets
Sweden,
to
England
sort of
is
deal with it, but I mean,
one MP.
I don't think it's at all a bad thing to open a no trump with a 5 card major. I mean, it just doesn't get you bad scores very often. I really don't know why they're so
4 MP for Indonesia.
they're so adamant about
USA
this.
2, and 15
They are because they hate
China trying to come right
missing
back.
the 5 forfeit if partner can't bid over 1 no trump.
Open team still trailing by 12, and all senior matches was quite a healthy margin for one team or the other. So PO, what are you doing for 3 no trumps?
No,
Assume
that's what I mean. We can see the chances of
assuming the club finesse is right.
In which case 1 no trump could be ridiculous with 2 hearts or 2 spades making.
Or a
raise
low
a
heart.
small to the 9.
Yep. Okay.
So he plays a
Well, I've got
heart
a
to
spec
the,
who wants to make this contract.
wants to make it even.
He does. He wants to win the ace of diamonds, which I think was a good play, keeping the entries open to your hand, and he wants to play hearts to the 9.
Yep. Maybe he's going to run 9.
7 up.
Well, it's certainly getting closer. I'm not sure if either he or I had worked our way through the rest of the play.
I expected him to play a heart to the 9, I must admit,
Well,
when he took the trick and dummy. And I agree, you should take the trick and dummy.
That's a very bold play. And it might be the right thing to do. It is the right thing to do, but I don't see how East can work that out.
This was a so-called Grosvenor, when West followed with the 6 of spades. Clara could have inserted the 8.
However, West can work it out. We had 2 hard
And
entries.
since Bill knows everything about Grosvenors, perhaps he wants to explain that to the audience, what a Grosvenor is.
Well, it's a play typically by a defender, but it could be by anyone, that a sensible player can't possibly take advantage of. In other words, it's a play that cannot gain,
We will try and catch her up with the scores from
but
the
never
other matches
loses.
once you missed when this deal was over.
Yeah, the basic idea. I mean, for example, imagine.
Declare
I mean, if anyone's not met these Grosvenors before, you could give an example. So, I mean, suppose that,
probably
I don't know, Declare was in a Grand Slam, say, and his trump suit was something like, you know, Ace 10x in dummy and King to 6 in his hand, and you had Queen Jack X under the dummy. Then if Declare leads a little trump towards the dummy, then obviously, objectively, you should put in the Jack or Queen from Queen Jack X to ensure yourself a trick. But you can play low there because even though if he could see all the cards, he could take advantage by putting the 10 in. He's never going to do that because that would just be mad play, because then he'd go down every time trumps were 2-2. And to make that play, he'd have to play for you to have been mad and given away your sure trick. So you can often do something that looks absolutely ridiculous, but you get away with it. And the idea is sometimes people try to do this because then they think it'll just upset their opponents psychologically when they find out, you know, you've given them a chance to make some contract, but they didn't take advantage of it.
It's a push.
Against two spades, by the way, in the closed room, the defenders led 3 rounds of hearts and Declare lost those 3 tricks and later 3 trump tricks, so I guess they didn't get a club trick.
This was the reply I got to my Grosvenor gambit.
Denmark against USA.
So one of you please translate.
Trumps and the leader, the ace of hearts. So it's all thanks to Antonio Sementa's 1 diamond bid that his side may gain himself on the hand.
I can't even tell what language it is. It's Greek, is it?
Yes, it looks like Greek. Could it be
Sort of
Russian?
a compliment. You can take it as a compliment that they blithely assume you understand whatever language it is.
Well, I think it is. It's called, what is called Cyrillic, really? It is Russian, yes.
Okay, now it's safe for the defenders to play spades. They have already got 2
But isn't
spades.
it nice there's always a Wikipedia
West
page
take
to explain things?
2 spades and 2 hearts.
So that's 2 down.
Oh, so it's Serbian, and it means
Most of you
link
know
to the
that
article Grosvenor
Roland
gambit.
2 spades doubled on the east-west cards. Still managed to make 7 tricks.
I can't even make out which of those words is Grosvenor.
Yep, they made 7 tricks
Well,
in one room.
I think
8
the
tricks
second
in the
last
other
word
room,
is
still
gambit.
lost 5 ends. Hardly fair. Okay,
So perhaps the
here
last
are
word is
the
Grosvenor.
missing boards
Yeah,
for you.
the last word must be Grosvenor. Absolutely.
We'll catch up with board 13 in a minute. 2 diamond opening by Sementa is a balanced
Better get back to the
18-19.
bridge, I guess.
Yes. So 2 diamonds, 18-19 balanced. That's a popular treatment in Italy. We know that all 3 pairs play that.
West will presumably stretch now because that way he gets the chance to find the 4-4 heart heads. I suppose they'll end up in 4 hearts.
Yeah, but he probably won't be able to relay with 2 spades because South will probably bid 3 clubs,
Fairly decent margins for one team or the other.
at least 3 clubs.
For 10 we saw played in 1 no trump, making 90 by Hou for a small swing in.
How about 3 no trumps?
East-west pairs.
Interesting that he
Very
passes.
lost.
Is he intending to pass the reopening double from his partner?
I think he's intending to pass it out.
Yeah, but how can this be forcing? Won't it just go all past now?
Table, diamond opening bid 1919.
Yeah, I certainly don't see. I don't think his pass can possibly be forcing. But I mean, I'm just wondering. I mean, when you pass there, you have to decide what you're going to do if partner does reopen with a double,
So
which
the
presumably
player
would
in
show,
three clubs
you know,
will
sort of
heart, two clubs,
relative
and
shortness
perhaps a
in
diamond
clubs.
to lose.
I mean, perhaps Duboin's just made a brilliant decision that after 3 clubs, the chances are pretty high that like suits are breaking badly, and even if they've got a 4-4 heart fit, they might well not be making a borderline game.
Italians,
And particularly as, you know, he's got 3 clubs, South really has to have 7 to bid in this exposed position. His partner's got at least 2, so he knows North's got 1 club at most, so there's club rough threats. So perhaps he's just decided, hey, you know, maybe he's told us that our 4 hearts isn't making, and right he is.
Yes, good judgment, I would say. He's got the wrong hand for 4 hearts, with the wasted queen of clubs and all that you said. That's why I was wondering whether they'd possibly navigate to 3-note trumps, which is a contract that may well make, unless South finds the diamond lead.
This obviously helped declare a little, but far away from 9 tricks. 7 more likely, I'll say. In that case it will be 500 and 11 imps to Italy. New leader.
1 or 200, I think. So,
For 11 or so.
yep.
So they'll be up by 5 or 6.
So normality restored, would you say, Bill?
Cup match between USA 2
Well, it's a swing out of nowhere, isn't it? I mean, absolutely no way the Chinese pair did anything wrong on this deal. I think they just got taken for a ride by the 2 diamond opening.
On the next deal.
Come to think of it, I'm not sure that they did anything wrong in the closed room either, where they had an uninterrupted auction to game and therefore forfeit.
Quite a lot of boards still to go in. France against China. The French had led by 45 earlier on. It's cut to 15.
So a fairly magical swing to Italy there, which is what tends to happen.
Defenders have taken 4 tricks against 3 clubs.
The match between USA 2 and Sweden, also in the Bermuda Bowl, still very close. USA 2 up by 12.3 imps.
No particular reason to do that.
1918 in the set. It's very difficult for the organisers which of the 2 matches they should feature in the last segment. Hopefully we'll get both of them.
Down 2 and 11 imps. New leader. Board 14. Closed room. Final contract. 5 diamonds doubled by east-west. Just a spade and a club to lose.
So Italy get in front again, but it might not last long,
China
since there's
closed room.
potentially a good board for China coming up.
USA 2 picked up the same big swing.
I suppose play finished in the other room, since we have 6,627 spectators in this room now.
In the auction and closed room, east and west.
Wonder if the players realise that that view graph
competed over 4
operator
spades.
sitting there in the corner represents 6,000 eager
Judged very
spectators.
nicely. North-south in spades.
Probably best for them that they don't sort of imagine that.
Not at all easy to get that the double fit in, unless West.
Well, at least West will be comfortable with it. They've been there before, but this is incredible pressure for North-South, and they're playing really well, given that pressure.
5 hearts makes, so there was, I think, one pair.
Yes, the
Yeah.
Swedish.
So interesting that how he had chose to double. Do you remember how he overcalled one spade earlier? On the exact same holding, wasn't it? Ace king to 4 spades?
Also some kind of heart raise.
Yep, it was Ace King to 9 to 4,
Good raise,
but there was a
not
slight
good
difference. He
raise.
had Ace to 4 in the open suit, whereas in this one he's got 3 small.
3 clubs by East, bidding where he lives.
Still,
Yeah,
I mean, the
double.
double's not exactly a work of art, is it?
Yes, I think the 4 card overcall on the previous hand was because he had only a double and an unbid major, so he really didn't want to make a takeout double.
That useful.
Yeah, it was overcall or pass, wasn't it?
Yeah, or 4 hearts.
Really? Even if you've shown a good raise in
Yeah,
hearts?
well.
Well, almost certainly this auction has buried the diamond fit, hasn't it?
Sound.
Are we sure that Donald Trump didn't show diamonds?
So yes,
Well,
the
Ace would have
opponents
raised
have nine
diamonds if it
spades
had.
in there.
So it's likely that partner has maximum at Doubleton.
I agree with
Described
you,
as a
it
good
was
raise of
maximum
hearts.
minimum at Doubleton as well thus far.
Oh, right, of course he has got a heart there, yeah. But still 3 clubs is going to slow West down.
Yeah, he could
Well,
really
I don't know, if 3 clubs shows values, it'll slow West down, but if
you could make game, he would have
so if 3
bid
clubs is asking for
well.
help, then it actually makes his hand good, because that suggests partner's got, you know,
Well,
length
North,
and
of course,
weakness in
need come
clubs, which
again
is
anyway.
really nice for him.
Yeah, I think he's going to bid 4 hearts eventually. I mean, 3 small spades looking good as well.
Over 3 hearts, I'm sure he will.
Should or will?
Well,
I'm not sure three small spades is that great. He doesn't know the opponents have got a 9 card fit, but
Not so clear bid for spades. No. Sementa had his
And
pass card out already.
I'm not
but
sure how many extras he's got,
Shi
given that
has not passed.
he's already shown a good raise.
yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
South might be.
I'm slightly surprised that North hasn't done a bit more. I mean, I
Might think that the Ace Jack 4th
I mean,
clubs were
couldn't
good.
North have sort of bid 4 spades over a no
Yes,
trump?
if
Wouldn't
Hou
that
had bid
show his
spades
hand a bit
over
better? Perhaps
hearts,
that's a little bit
then
much,
Shi
but
would probably
I would
four
rather
spades
bid
over
4 than
hearts.
2, certainly.
Yes.
But I imagine that South thought his partner probably only had four spades.
So
Yep, but China will get a little closer,
this will be 11.
No,
probably
No.
3 imps
it's
closer.
550 plus 4 East West one room and minus 450 or 420.
No, I meant 11 tricks.
I'm sorry. You are right. 11 tricks is the likely number. Declarer
maybe-
can pitch
maybe not.
3 clubs on the diamond, but not 4. So 5 hearts and 6 diamond tricks. Declarer
Which
can't
will
pitch
score
because
450
There could be a diamond rub.
compared to 550 in the other room, 3 imps.
Didn't West do well to just jump to 4 hearts? I was thinking he might bid 3 diamonds to swing it back to partner, but that would have had a very unfortunate effect, because North would have bid 3 spades for sure, and now, which was essentially what happened at the other table, and now South would have probably been clued in enough to bid 4 spades. They have such short touch in the bidding, the Italians. If you look at the last two hands, the pass out of 3 clubs and then this jump to this quick access to 4 hearts, they're quite different sort of hands in that one they were very passive and the other they were very active. But they had such short touch and made it very difficult for the opponents.
At the end of the set. That's the only one of the senior matches that is finished, but the margin in all of the matches except perhaps USA Denmark looks reasonably significant. Still 5 results to come in USA Denmark. In the women's, it's Sweden by 6 over England. Indonesia now by 22 at the end of the set. 1 set to go, and Indonesia poised for perhaps the biggest upset in the women's event for some while. With lots of comparisons in USA Netherlands and the Venice Cup still to come. They've obviously lost contact with that room. And France, China, still only 15 imps. So the women's has 4 matches, each of which are up. And we will be watching China, Italy again for the last set this evening.
They didn't quite finish at the other table. They are on the last board now. Well, perhaps we'll get up to around 7,500, 8,000 spectators at a single table, and that will be a new BBO record. We're close already, because the record stands at 6,942. We are 6,676.
You have to be impressed with the BBO servers. The site's still working flawlessly, even with this level of access.
Okay, diamond switch. Declarer should table his hand now. 450 and 3s only for China. So a good result for Sementa Duboin. Closed room, final contract, 3 spades by North. Looks to me as if North-South did.
Seems an excellent result for Italy in the closed room.
To make 3 spades and stop there.
Mandala opened his balanced 11 count.
1 spade doubled, +2 by North-South. So
In the old days, of course, this would have been a clear-cut pass-out. And here they all think they have an opener. Well, maybe not east.
Sure, he's got an opening. He's got a weak 2 in diamonds.
Right.
What he may very well have is a difficult problem after the redouble.
So
I mean, pass
South
is not
open
normally
to diamond.
considered to be a penalty pass these days,
North redoubled.
and he must now be worried that his partner will bid a
Come back
spade.
west. A bit of hot it out. And North might double that, I suppose.
Although I suppose
Is that your style?
if his partner did
Would
bid a
it be yours,
spade,
Theo?
then he wouldn't do that with 4-4 in the majors. So you haven't missed a better spot in hearts.
Make quite a lot of tricks, I guess, in one
which
heart by
one?
West.
On heart shows redouble probably.
Okay, so the redouble was showing hearts, was it?
Diamond
And the
double,
one
double,
heart bid
plus,
presumably says he's
plus.
got a weak no trump.
One heart
Okay.
West. So your explanation is convincing, but wrong.
Only it says heart.
Operators playing games with you.
You were fooled.
And
So this is an example of what we were talking about earlier, which is that the penalty redouble really is not that much use when your partner's opened a low-level bid. I mean, a diamond or particularly a club, because the opponents have just got so many spots at the one level. It's pretty rare that you can actually penalise them profitably.
And south will balance with spade.
What very often happens is that
So the whole option
people
is
redouble
one seat off,
and then
one position
find that when they
fix it
can't
in
penalise the
two
opponents, they're much
positions.
worse off because they don't know where they are.
spades is north going a bit now.
Just two. Remember his partner opened a precision diamond.
Maybe three.
And if North was not intending to
Maybe.
double a heart, I mean, what was the point of redoubling? You're never going to actually get them, are you?
So we did set a new BBO record by 1,000 even.
A heart trick, a dime trick.
7,900 now.
It's not easy to see how they do that. Maybe the lead to the Queen of Hearts, Pio?
Well, I predict it'll be broken within the next 3 hours.
Lead a diamond to the ace and a second diamond and a low heart.
Yeah, could happen.
Maybe you can get 5 tricks. Maybe.
Maybe.
It's at least worth a qualified maybe. Three spades
Is
it is.
North now wondering whether 2 spades is enough? I mean, having redoubled, perhaps 2 spades is enough there. Okay. He
So
bids
it
3.
He needed I think.
A low trump from West, do you think, or a club lead?
Low trump is of course possible, yes.
Should be okay here,
I would
even
guess the lead.
if they get the diamond rough.
Well, I don't know. I mean, if he leads the Jack of Spades from dummy, Queen, King, Ace, and then West has another spade trick. So this looks pretty fraught to me.
Yes. And if anyone is short in spades, it's likely to be east when diamonds are 1-6, wouldn't you say, Bill?
Yep, for sure.
Well, I mean, after the takeover
so
of
he
the
should
diamond,
lead
you
a
know
low
where the
spade
spades are.
off dummy. Maybe. Not so good if the spades were 3-2 to start with, though.
Notice how Duboin does not lead a diamond because he doesn't particularly... I mean, there's 2 reasons. First of all, with ace 9, 8x of trumps, he doesn't particularly want to go for diamond roughs. I mean, his trumps may well prove an embarrassment to declare on their own. But also, he knows his partner hasn't got that many values, and if you've got the good hand and your partner's got the weak hand, that's not the time to lead a shortage because you're not going to be able to get your partner in often enough to get a lot of roughs. And normally that's what you're hoping for when you go for roughs. Is you're not just hoping for 1 rough, you're hoping for 2. And then leading a shortage starts to show a profit.
And it just happened, you know, as Bill predicted.
I'm not sure.
And now it's not looking so good anymore.
Let's say if declarer plays a high spade now, when he gets in, he's in trouble.
They don't even have to take the rough.
Okay.
So now maybe declare should be playing diamonds.
Yeah, it's pretty Pretty challenging for the declarer to pull a small spade off the dummy there,
Right,
but that
so
does appear to be what he needed to do.
deep trouble because 3 rounds of clubs
But
cut him off the
I
one
must say that 3 spades was a serious overbet
play a diamond
for my money.
wins and just returns a 3rd club.
He did redouble. Isn't 2 spades
I
enough?
don't think he should have gone for
You would have thought so,
Okay.
particularly playing precision where partner could just have a junky 11 to 12 count.
And if they do, declare must play a hot up himself.
But full marks to Medalla, I think it was, at the other table. In a similar sort of situation, he pulled the 2 of spades off dummy, and up came the singleton
He also
queen.
cut declare off from playing the hearts. What does East know about declare's shape? He knows that West has 4 hearts and 4 spades from the bidding.
I think he knows about the clubs.
Yeah.
The way
Yeah.
they were played.
Yep, he does. The 8 of clubs and 2 of clubs make this. And now, if declarer plays a diamond, West roughs it. Maybe West discards.
Yeah.
Yeah,
if
he pitches a heart. That's the best he could do, perhaps.
Plays a diamond, I think is he must play hard.
Yeah.
Playing a diamond and he's down.
Sementa should have been able to count that his partner had a singleton diamond there, because he led the
2 tricks already.
8 of clubs initially, playing third best lead, and then continued with the 2.
Now you need to finesse this.
And he's shown 4 hearts in the bidding, and he must have 4 spades, because there's no way declarer can have 5. So perhaps Sementa was actually playing Duboin for a double club.
West gets a rough and has the ace of hearts and the 9 of spades.
Rather than 4. That doesn't look very likely.
It's worse if
And perhaps Sementa actually just did work out the distribution, but worked out that his partner didn't massively want a rough, since he waited so long to lead this singleton diamond.
Should he not overtake the diamond even? I think he must play jack of diamond to.
Yep.
Well, it was very close now, but I think declarer couldn't make it even in this position because he just didn't have the communications to draw trumps and develop the heart trick and take all his diamond tricks.
We apologise for the
Well, but he may go 2 down now. If he doesn't overtake to play a heart.
missing results, and you will see
West is roughing.
are tied at
Exactly.
157 with 1 set and a
Yeah, but that's okay. But the thing is that if he plays low to this diamond, how is he going to get off dummy?
No, I think Duboin.
I think West will rough because he will just take the setting trick that way.
I think West has a pretty good picture of declarer's hand.
Okay.
No?
Yeah, West's not worried about his setting trick going away. He's after 2 off now.
And what will Duboin do?
So he's rough.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Now it's
well done by Hou here, at least.
1. There are 10 diamonds and heart up hands.
So 1 down it will be. 246 to Italy.
Okay, so the
Up by 8 with 1 board to go. And still another segment, of course. 16 boards, starting in about 45 minutes.
USA 1 we don't know much about.
yes, the match was on step.
Let me take the opportunity to thank our excellent operator in Veldhoven. His name is Bas van Westerveld.
Last deal, Italy lead by
Thanks also to my co-commentators Bill and William,
two spades. The
and
contract
to our colleagues doing the written commentary.
making 1-10. Healthy result for Italy, although USA were doubled in 2.
Thanks to all spectators for being here, all 8,396 of you. Hope you will be back later.
Also doubled in 2 hearts.
I'm sure you will.
Allowed to make it
And most will. Bill won't.
in the Venice Cup.
How late is it there? Oh, it's past 1 a.m.
2
in
diamonds
Melbourne.
opening by Shi.
You're going to work tomorrow, I suppose, Bill?
Is described as possible. No.
Yes, as much as I'd like to stay up, I think I'll have to call it a night.
Up to 10. Okay. Two diamond opening, and east again. It's Sementa with a hand where he wants to bid and he knows he shouldn't. And the angel on his left hand shoulder.
So this is the Ekran convention, invented by the Norwegian top player Bjørn Olav Ekran. We can't with both majors.
Did he pass? Come for him?
He may bid the next time round. Reculé pour mieux sauter. Okay.
That's it.
No. Sementa is still there. He's still here. Two no trumps. Here we come.
Minors, do we think?
Ready or not?
If it is the minors, we will have the 3 mid. Probably. Maybe pass.
Maybe 3 no trumps.
No.
Shh. In some of these situations, I've seen Sementa and Duboin use 2 no trumps to show 1 minor. So maybe that this is a balancing hand with 1 minor, but I would not.
Well, this opening bid should let him get the clubs right. You lead the jack of clubs first, rather than cash the ace first, because if they are 4-1, South, it's more likely that South's got queen to 4 than that North's got the single and queen.
Can you make 3 clubs if they get to that?
And hearts.
What happens? Pass?
Yep.
Aha. Now, my friend, don't lead a spade, because that is fatal.
Certainly would expect the 7 of hearts lead.
Yep.
Yes, I reckon that's going to make.
And declare may well win in hand and run the jack of clubs.
It's a bit difficult because the spade's being frozen.
The club finesse and unblock the clubs.
And even if he picks the clubs up, he's not
Wouldn't you?
home, is he? But
Might
think I would.
Very well do that.
So if you find the queen
he's
of
a
clubs,
bit short of entries to
south,
hand, of course, with the with the
ace
clubs
of
as they are. I mean, let's
spades
say
with north,
you win this, run the jack of clubs,
take
club to the 9, king of clubs. Then
hearts
what do you do? I mean, you probably just lead a spade to the king, hoping that solves all your problems, and that will work very badly. Oh, sorry, he's of course only in 2 no trumps, not in 3. I was automatically planning to play in 3 no trumps.
How will this fare?
Yeah, okay,
Looks
it's still
like
one off those.
one down. One down, probably. Maybe 2.
Well, you're probably right, but I'll rashly predict that he'll somehow make it.
I think he'll get a spade switch now.
Declare a duck the first
That
half.
won't be good for the
It's a good
defense.
start.
Oh no, they'll continue hearts, I'm
Okay,
sure.
we
But
have running totals in USA against Netherlands up to 15 boards, and Netherlands trail only by
Sementa is
21.
pretty good at playing bad contract. That's partly because he often tends to bid in quite a cheerful and happy fashion. So he gets a lot of practice at playing in bad contracts. But he's quite good at persuading the defence to help him out and taking advantage if they slip up in any small way. Yes, North's probably just deciding which of his heart honours, or which of his hearts to lead, given that, there'll be suit preference overtones, perhaps.
If North shifts to a spade, Clara may come close to making. If he plays ace of diamonds and a diamond, Clara can still use the ace of hearts as a let. And so well played by Sementa. Back the trick. Second heart.
USA 2 against Sweden. USA 2 had a few very good boards towards the end of the set, and they're now 40 imps up, going into the last 16.
Win it in East, you don't have an entry to the clubs. If you win it in West, you can't play the clubs without losing one. North doesn't.
yeah, look, I have to concede that double dummy, I don't see how this can be made.
Well, he does have a chance of a spade on a spade switch, but why would you switch to a spade? If you had the 10 of spades, perhaps,
well done,
you don't. Not much point with jack to 3 in the dummy.
No, I'm sure he'll go jack of clubs, club, spade. And go however many down that is. Lose a little bit.
Okay, so Clara has elected to win the ace of hearts, and I imagine his plan is to run the jack of clubs next.
Yeah, it looks normal to run the jack of clubs now.
I mean, if he can read from the defender's signals how the spade suit lies, obviously he's going to try something else, like just playing a diamond after the king of clubs.
If he does play a spade to the king and ace, South will have to be careful to switch to a diamond, not to play back the 10 of spades, which would be disastrous.
So, if Clara plays the spade to the king and ace, and the defenders will surely...
Clara may now cash the king of hearts before playing a spade, just because he wants to force the defence to... Sorry, cash the king of hearts before leading a diamond. Because he knows North has only one heart to cash. He might do that to force them to lead suits for him.
Well, I'm asked if I know which 6 matches we're getting for the last segment. I have to say that I don't. I didn't get any messages. I would be surprised if we didn't get both BB quarterfinals, and then of course 2 from the Venice Cup and 2 from the seniors. I don't know which will be the featured match on site, whether that will be this one or USA 2 against Sweden. No matter what, voice commentary will be for the A match, so whichever they choose to put as the A match will be the one we are going to have voice for.
Could legitimately lead a diamond to the 10, hoping that North would duck.
I mean, East here does know he's sort of off, you know, the ace of spades and ace king jack of hearts, so actually, you know, he can't afford to lose anything else. So perhaps he can't afford to cash the cards. Perhaps he will just decide, okay, I need the ace of spades on side now. I mean, that's the obvious, legitimate line. You'd have to be pretty sure that that was not how the cards lay to do anything else, I think.
I'd like to say that we have now beaten the record of number of spectators at a single table by 2,000. 8,925 here now. So a lot of credit to our programmers, Fred and Uday. Well done.
South now must know his partner has the ace of diamonds, because if Declare had the ace of diamonds, he would simply have led a diamond to his ace and cashed his ace and 10 of clubs, and could claim the contract. So South now knows that this is just down, unless his partner's got the single ace of diamonds. Even that's fine. No, perhaps that isn't fine. I mean, anyway, South knows his partner's got the ace of diamonds, which is the main thing.
Well, he'd have to be 6-5, wouldn't he, to have the stiff ace of diamonds. So as long as he thinks it through, he won't win this with the ace, he'll win it with the 10.
Well, so I suspected that he might go 2 down instead. Now we're more than 9,000 spectators. Amazing, really. Everything's amazing. Also the scoreline here. It's just fabulous, isn't it?
Well, good effort by the Chinese on this board under intense pressure to hold it together and take it 1 or 2 off. Sementa gave this a really great shot by getting the clubs right and then playing a spade to the 9.
Yeah. So now South can set up his long diamond is the point. That's where the extra under trick comes from.
Thanks everyone, and good night.